Founded in 1975, the Amherstburg Freedom Museum has been serving the community for over 45 years. This museum was based on the dream of our founder, Melvin Mack Simpson, who along with dedicated community builders made this vision a reality. The museum preserves artifacts and tells the journey of freedom seekers and their descendants in Canada, in addition to offering tours and educational resources. The Nazare African Methodist Episcopal Church was established by Reverend Noah Cannon and built in 1848 by formerly enslaved people using field stones taken from local farm fields to build the stone structure. The church was primarily used as a place of worship, but was also used as a school, a general meeting place for the Black community, and as a safe haven for freedom seekers. The church operated as a station stop on the Underground Railroad, one of many across Canada, offering shelter, food, clothing, whatever the congregation could supply to those freedom seekers who were coming across the Detroit River into Amherstburg by any means necessary. The congregation renovated the church in 1888. Some of the renovations include the raising of the roof by 6 feet, the addition of the arched Gothic windows, and the choir loft. At its peak, the congregation had 75 members, but by the early 1960s there were a handful of members left, one of which was Mack Simpson, the founder of this museum. The last service in the church was held in 1988, after which the church became part of the museum complex. As time passed, the church began to fall into major disrepair, and after much effort, the church was restored in 1999 and officially reopened in 2000. The Nazare AME Church was then designated a National Historic Site for its importance as a station stop on the Underground Railroad. The cabin is named after George Taylor, who was an African American who escaped enslavement and fought in the Civil War and came to Canada around 1870. George Taylor lived in the cabin as an elderly man with his daughter Emma, son-in-law Thomas Thompson, and their daughter Azalea. The artifacts on display in the cabin were not owned by George and his family, but were donated by local Black families and represent the type of housing available to residents of Amherstburg between 1850 and 1900. Between 1852 and 1857, 3 buildings went missing from the property of Fort Malden, which is the British military fort on the Detroit River in Amherstburg. The Taylor Log Cabin could be one of those buildings that went missing, but there's no evidence to prove that. What we do know is that by 1855, the cabin is moved from where it was originally constructed and placed on the property adjacent to the Nazare AME Church. The property was owned at one point by James Kevill and was passed down through hands of many owners, mostly of English and French descent, and the property was rented out to tenants over time. In 1909, George Taylor's daughter Emma and her husband Thomas Thompson became the first Black family to purchase the home. Mr. Taylor moved in with the family after suffering a stroke and lived there until he passed. The home remained in the family's possession until it was sold to Mack Simpson in the 1970s to become part of the museum complex.